I need to tell you a story. And it's probably going to be a longer story. So this should be long form. And I realize I'm still doing this vertical, but horizontal just was not working for me tonight. So, and I'm also thinking like maybe long form comes to you from the passenger seat and reels come to you from the driver's seat. Is that how this is going to work? I'm not sure. Because clearly the only time that I can record anything is in my car, ever. And you got to do what you got to do. And that's also a moral to this story. I was thinking about entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, the story absolutely dedicated to some of my clients who are struggling with certain aspects of their business. And I was talking to someone earlier about how no matter how good we're doing, we never really recognize that. Or we could always do better. We could always be doing better. And it's so easy for us to say, I'm failing. I'm not doing well. And then when you take a step back, you're like, I'm doing pretty good. I'm actually booking clients. I'm making money, selling products, whatever your jam is. But we who are running the show often think, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing well. And this story is about my very first event. And this is beyond back in the day, beyond back in the day. And it was prior to my marketing career. It was prior to my many event planning successes, of which I could absolutely say have had many successes. Beyond the ticket sales, beyond filling rooms, my first ever event. When I was just a wee baby secretary, and I thought I was hot shit and totally like loved by the office, before I knew that being yourself, being your authentic self, was they were pretending to accept that, and they were humoring me, and they loved me in the office, but they didn't love me outside the office. I digress. I thought the office was awesome and loved me and would want to get together outside of the office for a happy hour, because everyone said, absolutely, we want to do it. We want to do this thing. Everyone was down for it. Everyone loved the idea. Awesome. I scheduled at a wine bar some night of the week. I promoted it to all of the network of colleagues, offices, people. Everyone was like, I'm down, I'm there. I had 23 people that said, absolutely, can't wait. And I showed up at the place, said, we need our section for about 20 to 30 people are showing up to this amazing networking happy hour. And I sat and ordered my glass of wine, and I waited. And I waited. And waited. And sipped on my wine and watched as the servers passed and snickered, and how they went over to the like manager and were like pointing at me like, this dude said he had 30 people coming and not one has shown up yet. Not one. No one came at all. No one canceled. No one texted. No one did anything. And I finished my wine and I paid, and I'm sure made a joke to the server like, well, guess nobody's coming. and left, feeling as if I had planned something epic, a great together moment for the office and all our colleagues and all our friends, and got laughed at, basically. And I was more observant of just the situation. Like, people aren't who they always say they are. People don't always love you as much as they appear to. And, ooh, there we go. Into darkness we go. People always say they'll show up and they never do. And I can tell you that that has been the theme throughout the last 20 plus years, that no matter how many times people say they're going to come, 25% might. And you have to be ready for everything, anything and everything. You need to be ready always to pivot from that large group that you expected and be ready to have an audience of 2. We also have done that, where we had classes and things where we had an RSVP list, an actual RSVP list of 15, and like 2 people show up. You know what you do? You teach to those 2 people. You entertain those 2 people. You take photos with those 2 people. And you take away from that whatever you can take away from that and plan the next event. I know I'm weird, and psychologically, like, others would have went home and cried, but I was just more like, I'm not feeling too upset. I was more observant about the people who swore to me that they were my bestest of friends and colleagues and wanted to show up than the snickering waiters and waitresses. And I wasted a night and a lot of planning and a glass of wine. That didn't really bother me. It was more a lesson of like, how can we do this better next time? And so I did better next time, and it never got any easier. It's still not easy. I've done great events and successful get-togethers and networking, and I'm now aligned with some amazing networks and people that will show up, and people that will show up for me. But you never forget that first time. You never forget that it always could turn out to be that first time. You might have the audience of nobody, but you just plan the next thing. It's not the end of the world. And that's why when one person shows up, I'm like, thank God somebody's here to talk to, and I will make the best of this. And if it's 3, 5, 10, if it's even 10% of who you were expecting, just be happy with that. Just like this speech, just like this story told to you in the darkness. Apparently, I now know that these lights turn off after a couple seconds or minutes. But you know what? We're going to post it anyway because we're going to tell a story. That's it. That's all. Yes, I do wear my sunglasses at night.